How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Lead Therapy, and thank you so very much for taking time for tuning in to my video. Facebook censors ATF's gun registry with error-laden USA Today fact check. Before I go further on with the video, if you enjoyed this video, or if I gave you some information you didn't know, please take time to like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. It helps the channel out, and it's greatly appreciated. As we all know, in a recent report, ATF admitted to Congress that it maintains nearly 1 billion gun and gun owners' records. But to the agency's own admission, didn't stop Facebook and USA Today from teaming up to fact check and censored this news, which has shocked the Second Amendment community in recent weeks. I'm going to put up on the screen a Facebook post made by Gun Owners of America. As you can see there, it says Gun Owners of America, January 21st at 1:48 p.m. Breaking, ATF gun registry includes almost 1 billion firearm records. Make no mistake, this is Biden's next step towards gun confiscation. Biden admin has records on nearly 1 billion gun sales. And then at the bottom you see missing context. Independent fact checkers say this information could mislead people. The average Facebook user may now be inclined to click the link to see why, which redirects to a so-called fact-checked article from USA Today, rather than the full story from the original source. Interestingly enough, when scrutinized, USA Today's so-called fact check, which labels our claim of a partial national gun registry as missing context, makes 11 false statements and 8 statements that are missing context. Indeed, by trusting Facebook and USA Today, an individual is likely to walk away with the understanding that there is no searchable federal database or registry of guns or their owners, and that the ATF only has a few 100,000 of such records. Neither of those understandings are correct. On the contrary, it's an objective fact that ATF admitted to lawmakers that it is currently maintaining a searchable database of nearly 1 billion firearm transaction records, which includes personally identifying gun owner information. This is precisely what gun owners are concerned about when they voice opposition to a national gun registry leading up to the 2020 election. Gun Owners of America similarly was censored by Facebook, working with the French government to cover up the reporting of the fact that Kamala Harris opposes the individual right to keep and bear arms. Facebook went so far as to label as fake news a link to the Harris amicus brief, which she filed in opposition to that individual right in the landmark Second Amendment case DC versus Heller. Similarly to Facebook's censorship of GOA in 2020, this USA Today hit piece itself is full of false and unsubstantiated claims. So let's fact check the fact checkers. False claim: ATF out of business records do not constitute a searchable database. USA Today first claims that the ATF's out of business records, even though digitized and scanned into a centralized computer system, do not amount to a searchable database. ATF's out of business records are collected and maintained in an organized format, both digitally and physically, at the ATF's Out of Business Record Center. ATF's National Tracing Center then uses this registry to conduct what ATF calls record search requests to identify personal identifying information to ostensibly trace guns used in a crime. USA Today's own sources disprove its own claim that there is no searchable database. April Langwell, chief of the ATF's Public Affairs Division, refers to searching for records, and UCLA professor Adam Winkler states there is a database. In other words, ATF maintains a database that it routinely searches, but in 5 instances, USA Today claims this is not a searchable database. False claim number 2, ATF records do not constitute a prohibited registry. Next, USA Today claims at least 6 different ways that ATF's out-of-business records are stored in a format consistent with a gun registry. USA Today engages in what some people call circular reasoning. Federal law prohibits a national gun registry. Therefore, ATF's searchable database cannot be a national gun registry. Of course, an agency's denial that it is not violating the law is hardly proof of its innocence. On the contrary, if this is not circular reasoning, it is hard to see what is. What's more, ATF in the past has been specifically cited for violating federal prohibitions on creating a centralized database as recently as 2016. Government Accountability Office report. Federal law both prohibits the creation of a registry of guns or gun owners, but also allows ATF to receive records when a gun store goes out of business. And many pro-Second Amendment groups say they have valid legal interpretation that ATF's decision to collect personally identifying gun and gun owner information and maintain it in a searchable database violates the statute of federal law based on the entirely unsubstantiated nature of USA Today's claims that the ATF is not maintaining a prohibited gun registry, in addition to numerous pieces of evidence showing the ATF's database has crossed the line into an illegal gun registry. Everybody rates this claim as false. Next, under missing context, ATF has hundreds of thousands of records. In 2 instances, the USA Today article states the ATF does possess hundreds of thousands of firearm records. Of course, ATF possesses not only hundreds of thousands of records, but also 920 million in addition to that. The fact that the USA Today repeats its hundreds of thousands of claim more than once indicates perhaps this was not a grammatical error, but instead a deliberate attempt to deceive. Indeed, the actual number of records maintained by the ATF is so much greater. And to quote the ATF, in total, ATF manages 920,664,765 out-of-business records as of November 2021. This includes digital and an estimated number of hard copy records that are awaiting image conversion. It is currently estimated that 865,787,086 of those records are in digitized format, based on the ATF's own statement that it manages nearly 1 billion out-of-business records. I think we all can rate USA Today's claim as missing context. The next missing context. The ATF database only includes crime guns, similar to the misleading claim above. One of USA Today's experts misleading claims that the ATF's out-of-business records database includes names of the purchasers of guns used in crimes. Again, while this is technically true, the database does contain that information. The database, in fact, contains far more than that. It includes information about hundreds of millions of guns that were never used in a crime, and many tens of millions of gun owners who have never committed a crime due to the inherently misleading nature of the USA Today claim. You definitely have to rate this missing context. Hang in there, guys, we're almost done. I know this video is longer than usual, but I wanted to get all the information out there for you. The next and last missing context. ATF records can only be accessed during criminal investigations. On 4 occasions, the USA Today article claims out-of-business records may only be accessed individually to assist in criminal investigations. However, ATF's website provides a process by which a private citizen needing to obtain the serial number of a stolen firearm purchased from an FFL, which has since discontinued business. Further, the website reveals that ATF runs traces on any bona fide criminal investigation, meaning ATF assumes that all trace requests are submitted pursuant to federal law, in good faith rather than by authenticating each request based on publicly available information. Regarding ATF's record research requests, also known as the RSR program, everyone should rate the claim that the ATF can only access the record if law enforcement agency asks for help tracing a gun linked to a crime is also missing context. Well, there you have it. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below about these so-called fact checkers. And as I mentioned at the starting of the video, if you enjoyed this video, or if I gave you some information you didn't know, please take time to like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. And I will see you guys in the next video.